Thank you.
And ladies, we are live. All right. Hello, everybody. I am Anja.
And I am Nicole.
And we are here with In Love with Love. And today we have a super special guest because it is the second day of Women's History Month, Dr. Kiana. Hello, Dr. Kiana.
Woohoo!
Well, it's Dr. Kiana Dancie, and thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you, ladies. I am uber excited to be here with you guys. I've heard so many great things about the show. So, yes, happy Women's History Month.
Yes, we are going to intro. There's so many accolades, and we got some feedback. There are so many accolades regarding you. So we're just going to read down the list, and then
Okay.
you tell us how would you introduce yourself to the people. So we're going to just start with. Listen, Dr. Kiana, that what I know and have read and researched, Kiana Dancie is the guru for mental health and emotional well-being and emotional intelligence. We're going to jump into that because it's season 3, y'all, and season 3 is all about emotional intelligence, okay? And so we got
Okay.
the right person in the house. Oh, we got a
My fur
friend.
baby wants to make an appearance. I keep telling him we are not white. There's no mouth to mouth. Okay. But yes, so thank you so much for having me. And now, did you ask me to introduce myself? Is that what I heard you say?
How do you want the people to know you?
First and foremost, I am a believer. So when people ask me who I am and what I am, I always say I am a daughter, I am a sister, but more importantly, I am a believer. And when you describe me or introduce me, I always tell people you got to start at the beginning of the alphabet. So I am an actress, author, comedian, coach. Coach should have came first. I know my ABCs, but coach, comedian. I'm a former national syndicated talk show host. I am a transformational speaker, and I am a realtor. I only say real estate because every now and then somebody say something about real estate, and I'm like, oh, you want to buy a house? So, and I will get into that later. But yes, I am just that. I'm a girl's girl. I love on my friends. I celebrate my sisters, and this is the best month to do so for Women's History Month.
Yes, that is amazing, ma'am. You got your spiel down pat. Okay, they
I
said
think you got to. If nobody knows, listen, I know me. I know me.
I love it. Yes, ma'am. Audrey, you got something you want to jump in with?
And I forgot Fur Mom.
Yes, he's.
And I got two right here. I got him, and I got a big old juicy English bulldog sitting here at my feet, and they're fighting. So this is what I got to pick him up to separate them.
So precious. We have dogs too, so we love them. We love them.
Oh.
Well, we want to just jump on in. There's so many things probably to touch on, and we want you to just we want to pick that brain of yours.
Okay.
Let's see. Where do we want to start? You got, like you said, A to Z, literally.
Wherever you want to start, sis, we can jump in.
You know what? I want to start with how Dr. Kiana, before you were Dr. Kiana, can we just talk a little bit about when you were Kiana and what kind of personality you had as a kid? Like, what made you, because there's always steps to it.
Yeah.
How did you become you?
So, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. My mom moved to Atlanta on vacation. Literally, she came to Atlanta, Georgia. She had read an article about a newscaster named Monica Kaufman, and Monica was uber successful. Yeah. At one time, Monica and Oprah Winfrey were up for the same job, and Monica took a job in the South, and Oprah took the job, I think, in Chicago, and they ended up going very separate, different lives. They had very different lives, but my mother was reading an article about her in, I think, Essence magazine, and she was like, well, if she could be successful, so can I. So mommy came to Atlanta, Georgia, and scouted it out, and got an apartment, and turned back around, came to pick me up, packed me and my bird up, got us in the car, and drove us south. And I'll be honest with you, I was quite disappointed. I was sad. I was hurt because everything that I knew was in Cleveland, Ohio. My family, my grandparents, all of my cousins were in Cleveland, Ohio. But thank God my mother had a vision that we could be more. Now, don't get me wrong, Cleveland, Ohio is not less. But she wanted more for herself, and all of her family and everything she knew was in Cleveland. And she said, you know what? I want more for myself and my daughter. So she stepped out on faith and she came to Atlanta. And I would tell you as a child, I did everything. Just like as an adult, I do everything. So I was a tap dancer. I was a ballerina. I was in an African dance troupe. I was a model. I was a, I laugh every time people ask me about my childhood because I was a catalog girl. So I used to model for like J.C. Penney's or, like, girl, like, listen, Sears.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and I grew up with with my cousins. I was a girl's girl. I always wore dresses and nice shoes and always had a handbag girl. But I used to run outside with the boys like I ain't had no good sense. You hear me?
I love that.
Yeah.
That definitely shows us the evolution of Dr. Kiana. Talk to us a little bit about your journey, I guess, and what led you into the profession of mental health. And it talks about, because I listen, she's done a TED Talk. I was so impressed just to listen to the TED Talk and so inspired by your conversation about emotional baggage. So talk to us about that.
I love that question because many of us are in denial about our emotional baggage. All of us carry, different sizes, different portions of our emotional baggage, but our emotional baggage is residue or it's unresolved issues from our past. And so I am a child molestation survivor, and I was molested at 6 years old. Inappropriate touching, no penetration, but at the end of the day, it was still wrong. And at 6, my eyes were open in a way that they should have never been. And many of us, and thank God, my mother had enough sense to put me on the couch. When I say on the couch, I was in therapy since I was 6 years old. Okay. And many of us, it's not just about being molested or raped or going, some sort of life trauma, drama. Sometimes it's something, and not to minimize it, but sometimes it's mother and father got divorced. Sometimes it's being bullied at school. But we all need some sort of refuge, and you can find that refuge in therapy. And so I'm an advocate for therapy. Sorry, they're moving around. I'm an advocate for therapy because I believe that just like with anything, when you get your car tuned up, you get your hair rebraided, we need to just do a little, tune up. And so when I started, I wrote my book, Bye Bye Bags, Laughing to Lighten the Load, where I discuss healing myself whole through laughter. And Bye Bye Bags did not just come out of the blue. It came because I was about to be on television, a national syndicated talk show called Sister Circle Live, and I wanted to put my best face forward, girl. Okay. So I got the bags under my eyes removed. And as I got the bags under my eyes removed and I was laying in my bed healing, I was having a conversation with Christ. And I said, Lord, heal me prettier and heal me younger. And he said to me, and this is the first time I ever heard him speak to me audibly. Wow. We see him speak to us various ways. I have a girlfriend. The Lord talks to her every day. I said, I don't know what you did and how you did it, but the Lord don't talk to me that often. I don't hear him. But the one time I did hear him speak to me audibly, he said, you will heal younger, you will heal prettier, but you're ugly on the inside. You got work to do.
Let's pause it. Pause. Wow.
Said what?
I said, wow.
He said, wow. Come on. He said, you will heal prettier and be younger, but you're ugly on the inside. You got work to do. I sat up. I have bandages on my eyes so I can't see. All I think I can do is rely on my other senses. I can smell, I can hear, I can touch. You hear me? But I sat up and I said, hello? No one answered. I said, hello? No one answered. I said, hello? And my mom just so happened to be walking in on that third hello. She was like, what you want? I said, Mommy, what you say? She said, I didn't say anything to you. I said, you said something, I heard you. She said, no, you didn't, because I just walked in the house. I said, okay. And I laid down, and the only thing I could utter out of my mouth was, I surrender. I heard you. And so I started working on my internal baggage, the internal baggage that was not allowing me to show up to be my best self. What does that look like? The Lord told me that I can be ugly sometimes, inside, curt, disrespectful, dismissive, short, rude, mean, all the things, mean girl, all the things, all things that were not God-like, fix it. So I laid down and I started doing the work. And that led me to my mental health journey because I couldn't do it by myself.
So Dr. Kiana, how old were you in this timeline?
So that was in 2017. I don't know how old I am. I'm 47 now. So 2017.
Ma'am, the black is not cracking.
Come on, it don't crack, baby. Let me tell you something. A little collagen, a little olive oil, and Vaseline. Yes, I still use petroleum. Come on, girl. So 2017, whenever, because that was 2016, that right before the show, I really started making sure when I show up that the light that shines upon me also shine from within me.
So late 30s, where
Yes,
we had this.
absolutely.
And I'm asking this question for a reason, because we literally just recently talked to another young lady for two points. First point was that we were just talking about how the enemy loves to come in around that 6, 7, 8 years old mark and start jacking people up with all kind of trauma and dysfunction and everything else. It's kind of like when you're old enough to really start really having memories.
Yep.
And
Because
number
during
two,
that time, the enemy can, well, first of all, the enemy is always on his job. He's always on his job. So at 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you're the most impressionable. So here's the time to, if I'm going to take her off her path or him off his path, let me do it now. And because I don't know any better, I'm innocent. So if you can have the ability to steal my innocence and my joy and impede on my peace, come on, I might have her I can use her for my good opposed to his good. But see, the enemy didn't know that I had not only a praying mother, I had a war chest of sisters and aunts and aunties and cousins and uncles that was praying for me, that would, no matter what the enemy did, he could not have me. So,
amen.
and that is why my mother made sure, I subscribed to PCP, prayer couch and prescription.
That's good.
So, like, yes, my mother prayed for me, but she knew that praying for me, the words say prayer without works is what? Dead. So that meant that we needed to do something else that take it to the next level. We're going to pray, but we're going to get on this couch, make sure this baby is good. So when she's old enough in her 30s, she don't have a complex with her body. She don't have issues, being intimate with a man, right? She's not. So because we're supposed to, when we come to a man and when I become a wife, I'm supposed to do what? Ideally procreate. But if I have issues and hangups, I can't do that. I'm not going to want to do that. I'm not going to want to be touched. I'm not going to want to be intimate. So you're absolutely right.
I love that, because I too have sat on couches for years. But I said, I asked that question also because, as you just said, towards those late 30s, another thing that hit was a conversation that we recently had. She's in her late 30s, and clearly I saw, and I'm in my late 30s, last year of 30s, but I was like, wow, we really do have so much of our lives to still live. So there have been a lot of things that may have been piled up on top, but when God can get clear to that hearing point, to where you have some evidence that what you were trying to do, or what the world was trying to teach you, doesn't work and it's not true, I think that's a very sweet spot to where he could be like, yeah, you're mine completely. So now let's go.
I wanted to make a couple, I guess maybe one valid point, or just kind of dig into this point. Like when this happened, right? Like this intrusion, this trauma happened for you at 6. Like what, I guess your mom was the safe place. I'm thinking like you were able to speak to her about this, like the power in being able to have a voice and be heard. Because I know that the previous person we spoke to didn't necessarily have that experience, and it was traumatizing as well.
So I'm assuming you're asking, was my mother my refuge? And the answer is yes. So what happened was, when I was at daycare, there was a police officer that came to the school who actually was talking about inappropriate touching. That they come into the school, talk to you about, hey, if this is going on with you, we would like to talk to you. And it was, like I said, it only happened one time. So I pulled my teacher aside. I'll never forget, her name was Dr. Fadia, Muslim woman. And I pulled her aside and I said, hey, I need to talk to you. And he had threatened me. He said that he would kill my mother if I told anyone. And I had enough sense. I've always been real grown. And I had enough sense. I was like, well, if he killed my mama, he got to kill my daddy. If he killed my daddy, he got to kill my grandfather. If he killed my grandfather, he got to kill like, I don't know if he can kill everybody, So I started, sorry, that's the comedian in me. But I really was like, I don't think he can kill everybody. And so I was like, So I pulled Dr. Fadia aside and I had the conversation. I said, hey, this happened to me. And he said he would kill my mother and I need help. And so immediately Dr. Fadia got my mother on the phone. My mother came to the school. The police went because he was my mother's boyfriend, and never had it happen before. It was just my mother left me at home one day. I was sick. She had to go to work and he was there. No one else could babysit me. I had never been left at home with him before. And it was just one of those things. And so she called, and it was no lack. It was no lag in it either. Right. It was all It happened. I told my mama, came to school. He was gone. He went to jail.
Yeah.
We went to court and went to jail.
I just honor that. I honor
it
the
was my mother honored the way I felt. She respected my feelings. She did not deny me. And I'm not in denial, understanding that there are a lot of women and men who do not have a safe place to say this has happened or this is happening to me. And a lot of children who don't have that. So I encourage women, if your daughter, or especially, well, I'm not going to negate it, but your daughter or your son, if your child comes to you and say, this is happening, believe them.
Yeah.
Believe them, because if you don't address it, it not only will become a lifetime trauma or a baggage that they carry. It can this scar will forever bleed because it's not being addressed.
Right.
You're not giving them the tools to heal.
And I just add, and I say again, I honor your mom and thank God for her, you know, hearing your voice, validating your voice, and like you said, moving as your advocate on your behalf. And not only that, since I am a school counselor, shout out to the counselor that you told and moved quickly as well. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm screaming at my dogs.
You're fine.
I tried to separate them. You should see what's happening.
Walk us up to this, you stepping into the whole comedian role, the comic, and how you're preparing for this event that we have shared on all our social media platforms. It's going to be amazing. The Women's History Showcase.
I'm sorry, did you have another question first?
I do. And I've been meaning to ask this question too. First of all, Black female comedian. We have a juicy handful of them, but I need to know who your inspiration was, who your greats were to be like, you know what? They made a living like that. They did A, B, and C. I want to do that too.
So let's back up. When you say juicy handful, how many is a juicy handful?
Right.
So the ones I think about, okay, so I think about Whoopi, I think about Samore, I think about Monique. Excuse me. Was it Mom Mabley? Like, are we going that far back? Like,
my Mom Mabley is dead, so there's so many.
Maybe Anja, are you thinking of the ones that
you can still see her?
Are you thinking of the ones that monetize? Because there are several Black women.
I'm just thinking of the ones, period, that could have inspired Dr. Kiana. Like any of them.
I'm saying when you said the juicy handful, that's what we were talking about.
Oh, juicy handful. No, I was thinking of period, the ones who are like showcased out there, popular.
Yeah. So there are hundreds, literally thousands of us out here that many of us you just don't know because we're not. There's no queens of comedy platforms, and honestly, it's harder as a female comedian in this business, just like being a female in any business. There's some amazing. Tiffany Haddish, yes, Kelly Kales, you probably never heard of her, Vanessa Fraction, B. Simone. There's like many of us. Now, there are less opportunities for us? Yes, indeed, because oftentimes you would see tours, they won't have 2 or 3 female comedians on the tour, but they'll just have one. For example, I went to go see Cat Williams last night, and it was 5 different women, 2 comedians on the show, which is 3 comedians, which is unheard of. Melanie Camacho, Monique, Corey B. You probably never even heard of Corey B. Maybe not even heard of Melanie Camacho. But there's so many funny comedians out there, female comedians out there. We just don't get the opportunity. And so to answer your question, how did I get here? So I graduated from college from Georgia Southern University and on scholarship, by the way. Graduated with a degree in marketing, and honestly, I got a job with Sony, and Sony was transferring my job to California. I don't know anybody in California. I ain't want to go, and I won't lie to you. I'm a mama's girl, so I was like, I don't want to go to California. California go earthquake and die. I don't want to go. So I did not go. But what I did do when they laid me off, I went to go see my girlfriend in Vegas, and I was there for 2 weeks on her couch. And baby, the lady said, how long are you here for? I said, oh, girl, I forgot to tell y'all I had no job. She was like, what? I said, yes, I forgot I don't have no job, girl. And so she said, listen, send me your resume. So I sent her my resume, and I interviewed, got the job, and had to move to Houston within 2 weeks. Couldn't even think about it. they offered me the job and said, hey, you need to be here by Tuesday, something like that, like next week, right? And so I picked up and moved to Houston, didn't know anybody, but I had a few cousins there, and I started working for Samsung. I was Samsung Telecommunications. And I loved working for Samsung. I was one of very few Black women that worked for a Korean company. And again, being a fish out, out of water, but I handled my business. I ran the fourth largest territory in the country, and I did very well. And then I started doing stand-up in 2009. My girlfriend used to come out, big old, sorry. I had this big old house that I would invite all my girlfriends over. And listen, I would entertain them, a little cocktail, a little wine, Jesus juice, and little chicken, little edibles, a little, wait, don't say edibles these days, have some pretty news, right? Have some food. And my girlfriends would come up and I would entertain them. And my friend was like, you need to be on stage. I was like, the lies you tell. She said, no, Kiana, you need to be on stage. So she dared me to do stand up, and I did it. And they invited me back, and that was in 2009. 2008-ish. And my boss, by that time I had won a contest open for Cat Williams and all these different things. And my boss just so happened to see me on TV, girl. I did Who's Got Jokes with Bill Bellamy.
Okay.
And my boss, a brother, was like, he called me. He was like, hey, think I said, what? He's, I think I saw you on TV, on BET, on Who's Got, you ain't see me? He was like, yes, I did. I said, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. Baby, that man took a picture of the TV and emailed it to me, because that was before we really had, like, we could SMS. Well, me was back in the day.
Yes.
That man emailed me a picture of me on TV, and I was big as day, my name, my face, and my gap. You hear me? That's me. Baby, it was no line. I couldn't get out of it. So he was like, listen, I'm sad. He said, I'm very proud of you. Actually, I'm actually very impressed. He said, but I'm calling to bear bad news. Oh. He said, and I want you to know, I thought about this heavily. I'm laying you off. I'm not firing you. I'm laying you off. He said, I have to let go 15% of the team. And I'm going to tell you how I got to you. You're single with no children, and you have a very, very good, viable comedy career in front of you. He said, I want you to go soar. And if I hold you here, you won't do it. And he was right. I was making over 6 figures. I was very young. Although I owned a house, I had a brand new BMW, girl. I wanted my job. You hear me? But he thought about it so much so that the other people that were on my team were husbands and wives and single mothers and all. So he was very thoughtful when he let me go. And he's right. I would have never quit my job. So thank God he did let me go, girl. And that's how I started doing stand-up. In 2009, I moved to LA. From LA, I hated LA, girl. They don't put bacon on nothing. Everything green. I can't stand it, girl. I need a little grease and some gravy. I moved from LA back to Atlanta, and when I got here, I was going back and forth to New York and just traveling and handling my business. Been on tour with so many different comedians, and someone knocked on my door and said, "Hey, we have an opportunity for you. Do you want to do it?" And that was a Sister Circle with TV1.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's so beautiful. And shout out to all of the bosses and managers that see the potential. Reminds me of the story of Roberta Flack and how she fired Luther from being her background singer, because she's like, look, you can't be here.
Back.
You can't stay in the background forever.
Right. No. Right. But everybody is not blessed with that, not only discernment, but even that care. Some people don't want you to get ahead of them. So thank God. Yeah, like you said, shout out to them, because many of us will be in the background if we weren't given an opportunity, or if someone didn't see us, see the light that really should be shining on us.
Mm-hmm. So before we move on, because I do have another question, I want to know, like, how did this door open up? Because we actually interviewed Queen Sheba. We are familiar with her. I know she is a part of the event being hosted. So tell us about that opportunity.
So, Queen Sheba is my girl. She's one of the dopest poets that I know on this planet. And so Queen and I have been working with each other for many, many years. And so, she knows that I'm a funny comedian, honey, one of the best in the business. She knows that I can entertain men, women, and anything in between. Whatever you identify, child, I can make you laugh. And so we ain't gonna get into that. You hear me? So, she asked me, she was like, hey, are you able and are you available? And anytime that I am able and available, when Queen calls me, I make myself available. And, so I'm uber excited to be a part of this because, you know, anytime that you can get different genres of entertainment together, it's always a good
Yes.
time. From comedy to live music to poetry, you know, Black folks are creative, honey. We're gonna put a
Very.
show together. No matter what's going on, honey, we're gonna do a line dance, we're gonna tell a joke, and we're gonna high five. So we don't care who in the office right now. We're gonna figure it out.
Yes, yes,
We're gonna figure
yes.
it out.
I
Yes. So
love it.
I'm super excited about next week.
And I can't wait to come and support. I cannot wait. So exciting. Yes. And
I
so
wish I could support, but I'm over here in Raggedy, California.
Oh, bless your heart. Bless your heart. I mean, but you know, you get your little ticket, girl. Y'all look like y'all got some coins.
listen, we receive.
Amen.
Yes.
No, but what out of all of your ventures, right? And maybe they were all different in the seasons that you were in. But what has been your most um maybe fun experience? What has been your most valuable experience? Because I know, like you said, just watching your reels and doing the research, you've been on these sitcoms, these movies, you've been in and out of all different things here. What's been fun? What's been valuable?
You know, I love that question also. You guys ask great questions. I love that question because it gives me an opportunity to really reflect. So when I was on Sister Circle Live, you know, I look back at the pictures and I look at the videos sometimes and I can actually feel where I was at that time. It was a dream come true. As a stand-up comedian, we all have the desire to be either on late night talk or daytime talk. And for me, that was literally, I wasn't looking for it. They came to find me. I was so excited about being on the show. But little did I realize that coming into that I was walking into a mean girl situation and I was going to be bullied.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
So you know, it was one of those things where, to be honest, even the viewers saw it. Like they act like they don't really like her, and I don't know if I realized that when I was there. But then after the fact, I was just like, I was being bullied. I was, but
Whoa.
it was just one of those things, and I was so proud of myself, honestly, about how I stood up for myself, how I made sure that I stood on business about whatever I was talking about, whether it differed from any of the women or not. But for me, even though we may not necessarily on camera and on off camera, we may not necessarily got along all the time, it still was the highlight of my career. I
Yes.
loved it because I don't care. I never internalized whatever they were going through and whatever drama or trauma they was carrying. And I mean them sisters no ill will, but it was obvious. And then things started happening around me. Like even when I got let go from the show, to be honest with you, I didn't even know that they were considering another host. I didn't know until I knew. I walked in on
Mm.
Friday with a job and was told today's your last day.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Right. And so that's the entertainment industry. That is just about how it goes. No one gives you a heads up, or even when you're getting fired from a corporate job. Look at Elon firing everybody. You don't know what's going. You don't know, well, what am I fired this week or next week? Let me know. But so you don't know. But the point is, regardless, when I went to that show every day, I showed up as myself.
Yeah.
I didn't allow anybody to change who I was. I didn't, close my gap because people didn't like it. I didn't change my opinion because somebody didn't like the things that I said. I stood on business about what I wanted to say, and it was what it was, and it will always be.
Mm.
Now, that was one of the highlights. The other highlight was working on One Crazy Christmas is one of my favorite movies that I did. It was one of my good friends, Jaylene Mack, who's also my attorney. She has been
Okay.
riding with me from day one. My mother watched that movie all the time. In this house, every Christmas, we're going to watch it. And, I just really love making content and creating, working on projects that my mother can really enjoy.
Mm.
And I'm a mama's girl till I die. And
Okay.
that too was another highlight of my life.
I love it.
Lastly, Baggage Claim, my women's empowerment brunch. And Baggage Claim is a safe destination for women to claim, heal, and release any emotional baggage that we all carry.
Love
And
it.
so Baggage Claim came from my book, Bye Bye Bags, Laughing to Lighten the Load. So I wrote the book talking about how I heal myself through laughter. And the Lord said, that's cute. You wrote a book. Now what? I said, you tell me. You call the shot. He said, Baggage Claim. He said, put all the women in the room and let's talk about what emotional baggage are you carrying? What emotional baggage are you denying? What emotional baggage are you ignoring?
Mm-hmm.
Because we all have some. But
Yeah.
what can we do to get better? And the first thing is get up and fight. The first thing is to
Mm.
get up and fight. Because if you stay in that bed, the enemy says, uh-oh, I got him.
Mm.
Then he started whispering. Because then when he started working with your body, now he in your mind, and now he in your ear. And then, so if you won't get up and take a bath, oh, she stink. Oh, I like it when she stink. Oh, I like it when she don't put a wig on. I like it when she got a bra. Now, you know, when we come home, we take a bra because we feel our best. But when you want to go out and put your best face forward, you're going to put on your butt, your what? Your best bra.
Right.
Your best bra, your lipstick, and if you wear wig, sis, you're going to put that on too. Don't let them have you. Don't let them have you locked up in the room with the drapes closed and the blinds
Listen.
pulled and you looking crazy. Get up.
Yeah.
Come on now, preach,
Yeah,
preacher.
get
Get
up.
up. I love
Get up.
it.
Because the enemy is always on his assignment, and that means you got to stay on yours. You got to fight. And even
Amen.
the days when you don't want to, get up, put your feet on the floor.
Listen, you're talking my language because I literally was talking to one of my good friends who's sharing. She was sharing that part of her story with me, and she's like, "No, get up, girl. Like you have
Yeah,
to tell yourself, get up,
yeah,
take a
get
bath,
up.
brush the teeth, put
Yeah,
the clothes on. Sometimes it's just that
yeah.
real. Yeah.
Sometimes I just get up when I don't feel like getting up, and if I'm not gonna leave the house, there are days where I just get up, take a bath, put my clothes on, put my hair on, and put whatever wig I feel. If I feel like being straight and curly, long, and whatever's going on, honey, I put it on and then put some lipstick on. You can't be bad and you just put on a new lipstick. Are you crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Just
You're
walk,
right.
put on a dress, walk through the house. You do something. And
No.
these days, you don't have to necessarily go outside to see people. You can get online and see people. You can create content, go live, and somebody will talk to you. Now, you know, the goal is, come on, the goal is to not isolate yourself, because when you isolate yourself, that is when he speaks to you the loudest.
Truth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Take us on your journey, and I know I'm just shooting questions out, but Andre, you feel free to jump in. But I do have a couple of questions. Take us on your journey with your emotional well-being and your lightening your load of baggage emotionally as it relates to your relationship with your father.
hmm hmm So it's funny you asked me that. Me and my sweetie just been having those kind of questions. You know, my father was in and out of my life in a good way, meaning my father didn't live in the home with me, but I spent summers with my father. I very well knew who my father was. My mother and my father never got married, but my mother never bashed my father. My mother never said bad things about my father. With any bad things that I found out about my father, I found out on my own. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have the mother like, oh girl, he ain't paying no child support. He didn't. No, 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 no. And I say this on stage, and I mean it with the kindest heart, and everybody can't relate when I say it. I'm safe, but I'm savage, so forgive me. I always say my father was the shit, but he wasn't shit. And why do I say that? Meaning my father was clean, always dressed nice.
Mm-hmm.
I seen one picture in my whole entire life with my father wearing sneakers. I never seen my father wear sneakers in real life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My father wore a suit no matter what he was doing and where he was going or who he was talking to. I never even seen my daddy go to work. I don't even know what he did. All I know is when I went to Cleveland, Ohio, whatever color suit he has, the same color dress I had. You hear me?
Oh
And
wow.
so my father was one that he was like bigger than life.
Mm.
He was amazing to me. Always dressed nice, always smelled good, always had a nice, just a good, just all the things. And so my I never correlated my father not being in the house to any of my trauma or my drama. My mother didn't allow it to be that, and nor did I do it correlate that to my mom. You know, bad things do happen to good people,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. But and the reason that the Lord allows bad things to happen to good people, now psychologically, we can go sit on the couch and come up with a whole different, laundry list of things or this happened or that. No, 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 no. At the end of the day, bad things do happen to good people. But why? If you're a believer, you got to know it's for the glory of Him. Because if I don't get through my drama, and if I don't get through my trauma, and I don't tell somebody about how I overcame that, somebody else is going to succumb to all the frustrations in life.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is going to commit suicide. It's like, well, I can't make it. But wait, you made it? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Like when I was sitting on the show, it's just a circle, and when we were having conversations, and it was a great opportunity for me to say that I was molested, and I didn't. I don't know why particularly, because I've never been shy about saying it. But that particular day, I just didn't say anything, and I came home, and my mom was like, "I'm very disappointed in you." I said, "Why?" He's like, "You didn't open your mouth and speak your truth," and she said, "I'm very sad that you did not do that." I said, "Well, Mama, I didn't want people to judge you." She said, "Hold on, sis, I didn't feed you to the monster." She said, You, ma'am, were given all, I gave you all the tools to become the best you. Yes, it happened. I did not know. When as soon as I found out, I made sure that I addressed it. She said, but you should have turned on that light so that you'll realize, once you turn on that light, you'll realize you're not the only one in the room.
Mm-hmm.
You got to speak. You got to tell people what you've been through, whether it's molestation, whether you lost a job, whether whatever your issues
Right.
are, you got to speak up because that encourages and it emboldens other people to say, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So my father, I don't necessarily have to answer your question directly. I don't have any drama I don't have any daddy issues. I love my father and I know that he loves me. My father actually is a source of entertainment. And my father's deceased now. He died in 2013. But he's a source of entertainment. True story, my father bit a man's ear off before Mike Tyson did. Like there are stories, girl. My father was hilarious, And so even though I spent every time if I ever needed to know where my father was, I talked to my father daily. But if I would call and look for my father and I could not find him, it was one person on this planet that I knew I can call, my granny. I call my granny, Granny, where daddy at? Give me 5 minutes, baby. And 5 minutes later, my daddy on my line. Granny said, you looking for me. You see what I'm saying? That was before folk were walking around with cell phones in their pocket. And so, although my father wasn't perfect, nor was my mother, but neither am I. And so, what I've learned through life is our parents have done the best that they know how to do. And sometimes that best may not just, hey, you hear them fighting? I got a big one and a little one. Neither one of them know their size. But, I am just grateful that I had the childhood that I had. I'm glad that I had the parents that I had because if I had not, I would not be here to tell you my story.
Yeah. Well, how does
That's what
that?
I'm talking about.
How does it play out? And I guess I'm just like you said, you're dating, right? Like, what's going on with you?
Girl, South got a man, girl. She got a man. I've never had an issue with dating. I was with, like, for example, my story is so crazy, and I talk about it on stage. I was with my ex, and I got to go way back. Well, I was with my ex from 19 years old to 29, same man, right? I love that man. He was an athlete. I thought yeah, you hear me? Listen to me closely. Everybody say we.
We?
I thought we was going into the league. You hear me? Girl, the man blew out his knee and messed up my future. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh man.
Oh no.
Yeah. But then when I turned 30, that was like my first time really, really, really being, dating. I dated like a white girl. I had a date at brunch, a date at lunch, a date at breakfast, date,
This is
a
so
little
fun,
snack,
isn't
little
it?
coffee, little tea. And so that was my 30s. And I looked up, I was like, whoa, I got to have a baby and get a husband. Now, there wasn't a shortage. Yeah. I refer to myself as Michael Jordan. I got plenty of rings. But, I just was like, I will say I probably suffered from hoping that there was something greener on the other side of the fence. Like, ooh, I might get girl. But then I learned as I've been doing the work, right? Learning that no one is perfect, which I already knew, but understanding that we all come with flaws and we come with shortcomings. You just have to make decisions. What can you deal with and what can you bear with? What's dealable? What's your deal breaker? And once I realized as a grown woman what my deal breakers were, it's on from here.
I love it.
It sounds like it's getting greener and greener and better and better.
Yeah, it's good.
Listen, honey. So as I'm listening to your story, and I'm just like, you're so funny, first of all. So shout out because I know that event next week is going to be so fire. I wish that I could come.
I wish
I
you
love
could.
how God has literally orchestrated or not necessarily just orchestrated, but
Mhm.
like you are the living, breathing example of what it means to like even like walk through the valley, but just completely be covered and taken care of and come out like not even harmed by the fire.
I will tell you, God has been so good to me, but equally good to you. And so, yes, we all have walked through the fire. But the thing is, I say this all the time. I may have gotten a scar or two. I might have got a little burn or two, but he never let me burn completely up. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you do need to come through this situation with a little bruise to remind you not only who you are, but whose you are and who saved you. And so as I'm walking through my dramas and my traumas, he's like, hey girl, I got you covered and I will protect you because I love you. But there are times, hey, we all looking around like, what, Lord, why? Like there's so many reasons why. Why? Why am I? Why? why does it have to be this hard? You know what I mean? Like, I don't like it. But again, it's all for his glory. And I appreciate the puzzle, because when I sit back and I think about it, I'm like, when I was 16 years old, one of my best friend and I got in a car with a guy, and he told us that we would never go home. We'd never see our parents again. And the Lord blessed me with he blessed me with something. Let me tell you how the Lord loves me. My grandfather used to call me radio, and I used to talk, 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 talk. Talk, 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 talk. So he'd be like, cut that radio off. My God, you talk too much. 16 years old, get in the car with a man that don't know me. 16 years old, I get in the car and he's like, y'all never see your parents again. Me and my best friend, we get in the car, don't even know why. We try to unlock the door, couldn't open the doors was rigged. I'm in the back seat. He's talking to me and he's like, y'all made a mistake. Y'all done got in this car, y'all done messed up. You go to church? I'm going to church on Sunday. I don't know about you. I'm about to go to church. Today's Saturday. We ain't supposed to be outside. We going to church. What's your name? Where you from? I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I can go to school on Monday. And he was out there with the talk, 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 talk. And that man pulled into the middle of the street and parked that car and said, get that off.
Oh my God.
Who knew the radio was going to be able to save her life?
Okay.
By the power of her tongue.
You like that little boy every praise. He said he started singing that. You're going to hear this worship today.
You're going to hear it. You hear me? And not only that, my voice and my mouth and my tongue has saved me many times. So I encourage you, once you identify what your gift is or identify your purpose, don't stop, because you never know what door is going to open for you. I recall at 17 years old, my boyfriend was shot in front of me in my mother's house. And again, that was another situation where I used my mouth. The man shot my boyfriend. It's a long story, but the short story is he shot my boyfriend, and it was just me and him in the house. There's no reason why he left me there. He could have left. He could have shot me and left, and people would have been trying to figure out what happened. But what I did hear is my grandfather say, "Speak." And I started talking, and I said, "You better go." I said, "I'm sure the neighbor heard that bullet. You better get out of here. You don't want them to come looking for who was shooting." And he was walking around in circles with a gun. And he said, "You right," and left. And
Wow.
yeah, so I'm telling you, once you identify your gift and identify your purpose, I dare you to move, use them.
He made room for you. My goodness.
Man, your gift will make room for you every time. No matter what valley you walk through, it don't matter what it looks like, you will always be covered and always be protected. And it feels unfair. Why do I gotta lose all this for your glory? It feels unfair. But the Lord stripped Lot of everything. And it feels unfair. But Lot never gave
somebody. It. You are speaking to someone, and I guess I'm looking at you like, did you always have this level of confidence?
Always had this level of confidence, but not always this level of faith. I always been very confident about who I am and what I am, and I knew I didn't necessarily know. I knew it will be all right. Didn't know how. I knew there was a reason, but didn't know why. I knew there was, I just knew there was this weird assurance. My mother, thank God, my mother is who she is. If I had any other mother, I probably would be crazy. But my mother
I was just going to say, it sounds like your family, like when it says the village raising a child, like legit, you had grandmama, you had granddaddy, like you had so much confidence and so many people speaking into you and literally like building you up. So I'm not surprised. The faith part was just the walking through.
I'll tell you this, I came into this world blessed. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I never met my mother's mother. My mother's mother died when my mom was 9. But I was born on my grandmother's birthday. So my mother said that my grandmother came to her, or she had a dream that I was coming on some random other day. And my mother said, no, my daughter is coming on the 26th. So my mother always thought, and that's my grandmother's birthday. My mother always thought that I was a gift from her mother to her. Remind you, my mother she was raised. My grandfather had 6 girls, but my grandfather was a full-time working father. And my oldest aunt was like 20, my mother's oldest sister was like 20 years older than my mom. You understand what I'm saying? My mother basically raised herself, essentially. My mom was 9. She had me at 17. You know, it was me and my mother. We went to war with the enemy. Always told my mother that she was, you know, wasn't worthy. She wasn't going to be right. But my mother made sure she said, at least she had enough sense to stay in prayer. I'm going to do things different with my daughter.
Are you the only child?
No, I have a brother. He's 14 years old. And I'm sure he would tell somebody, I feel like I got two mamas. But no, I have my little brother is, shout out to my little brother. He's doing very, very well for himself. And that's my mother. And although she loves me, I say this all the time, my mama liked me, but she loved that boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question. Do you see a lot of young women gravitating towards you? Because you could kind of see who gleans from you and stuff. I'm trying to figure out which age group is really trying to glean from Dr. Kiana.
You know, it's funny that you would even ask me that question because I get a lot of, it's diverse. So when you ask me about women, it's very from 18 to 80. Like when I did my baggage claim, we literally, when we did the demographics, it was 18, literally 16. The youngest girl in the room was 16 years old. The oldest was 80. And I didn't understand it. When I did my first baggage claim, I said, Lord, you know, I don't know what I'm doing, but you know, you put this on my heart, so I'm giving it all to you. I'm gonna lay it at the mantle. You make this work, please, because I can't. And I literally said, I only want 100 women. So I said, 100 women pay me $100 to be in a room with me, 16 to 80, and we came in broken and we left whole. How did we do that? I dare you to write down these three things, and it's not an easy fix. Essentially, it could be, but we know that there's other work that has to go into it. Write down an insecurity, write down one shortcoming, and write down one failure. Once you identify, now you know what you need to work on. Your insecurity, your shortcoming, and your failure. I dare you to write it down. I dare you to tear it up and later on burn it up. Now, it's not just burn it up and be done with it. And no, sis, you cannot write your man. Don't go down there and burn your man if he made you mad. What I'm saying is, do the work. Get you a therapist, find you a counselor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. And again, when I say PCP, prayer, couch, and prescription, thank God I have not needed a prescription. But the Lord said to me that you need to find someone that can help you non-biasly unpack the baggage that you carry. Right. And if you need a prescription, don't run from it. There are people out here who are functionally high level, but they have anxiety and they need some help. Yeah. They have depression and they need some help. Science is science, the Lord is Lord, and prayer is prayer. Use it. So, and there's a lot of young men who navigate me. I have two male mentees that I was just about to ask you about. Yeah, I have male mentees because I work in a male-dominated industry. They like the way that I've been able to level up, and I stand on my business. I've never slept my way to the top. I know some people have, but many of them just slept themselves to the middle, girl. But not me. Yeah. And I ain't judging. It is what it is. But I know a little bit about a lot. And that's what I love when I'm talking to male or female. I can relate to a lot of things that we're all going through.
Because I would think the men, too, really would consider you a safe place. Like they would trust you because they can appreciate the realness, the authenticity. What am I trying to say? Authenticity.
See, now that you said it wrong, listen, you ain't gonna have me down here not being able to say it right. This gap in my teeth, girl. Authentic. Yep, that.
There we go. Yes, I can see that.
I do. And I really I believe men, like for example, my brother, he relies on me about a lot of different things. And to be honest with you, he and I both rely on our mother for a lot of different things. But we have a wise woman in our life. Men do come to me for various reasons, whether they see that I've been through some things, they see that they can trust me, they see that I'm loyal. But also, I'm a hustler in my heart. I know how to work this business and not let the business work me. And so if you've been in the business as long as I bought houses telling these jokes. You understand what I'm saying? So many people admire that, and because everybody is not built to be an entrepreneur. Everybody is not built to be a 1099 employee or independent contractor. I'm sorry. So, that takes a skill set that everyone don't have, and I definitely can teach you how to utilize it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because to me, I think that is the less, okay, I'm going to get the words right, invasive way of entering into a conversation. And I'm going to say it like this, even entering into the heart of a man, right? Because, they got them walls up just like we can, but they but to be able to kind of like enter in through the business conversation. And then it's like, okay, now she's got some wisdom in this area because they need some stuff. Let's be honest. Like our men, our brothers they're hurting and they really need to unpack and enlighten their load in terms of emotional baggage.
Yeah, and that's why I created another brand, because many men are not so honest about carrying emotional baggage. When they say, you talk to a man, it's more like 80-20. 20% will say I got baggage, 80% I ain't got no baggage. But we know that they do. They just call it different words. So
Right.
what my new project is called Laugh Therapy, where laughter meets healing. Who can't laugh? And who runs, and you may not necessarily say that you don't need therapy. I don't need no therapy. But guess what? You don't even know that you're on the couch when you're at the show. You know what I mean? When you're in the room. You don't know that I'm already pouring into you in a way that you didn't even know. And that's what's so cool about my partner. He's a therapist, well, a psychologist. So that is what he do. He focused on Black men, right? And then I focus on the women. But together we work on the unit. And so it's really important that men understand that it does, and people, period, don't. I want people to understand, just because you're getting therapy, that does not say that you're weak. Just because you're going to a counselor or a psychologist or psychiatrist, that does not mean that something is wrong with you. But what it does say, that I am strong and I want to be stronger. Because you have to be strong just to wave your hand and say, I need help.
Right. There's
Yeah.
strength in that. There
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
We tell our students that, even that my kids, like, asking for help is not a weakness. Because truth be told, most people in the room need to know the answer to the question you're asking for help for.
That's true. That's true. Very true. Yeah, and I love the idea of working with both men and women, but there always will be a soft place in my heart for the ladies and the young women.
Well, we have truly enjoyed you. Woo!
Thank you
Dr.
so
Kiana,
much.
you were
I appreciate that.
absolutely a pleasure. You were first hilarious pleasure. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. You guys, if I could turn this camera around and you can see my dogs running around here. First of all, I got two. My mother's shaking them with a broom. It's a lot going on.
I would love to
in my house
see that.
all
See her
the
chasing
time.
with the broom.
But it's funny, because if I had it my way, I would have 10 dogs. And just, I love the babies, but it's a lot of work. These two right here are cat dogs. They really cannot stand each other, but they love each other. But I want to make sure I say this before we go. I love us for real. And I want us to make sure that we are mentally whole. Before we start talking about reparations, I always say, well, if we ever get reparations, I think mental wellness and mental health need to be part of that package. Because the issue is, a lot of our issues, a lot of reasons why, there's fights and there's gangs and there's, drive-bys, all these things is, one, insecurity, right? There's the, disrespect. I've been disrespected. The root of that is mental health. So if we are mentally sound, physically, all of that follows behind. Because if your mind is strong, you're going to take care of your body. You're going to eat better. You're going to speak better about yourself. I charge you and I challenge you to speak better to yourself. When you look in the mirror, stand up, put on your best. And even if you don't have on your best, say, I look good.
Yes.
I don't care if you don't got an edge coming. Girl, go buy you some edges. They sell them at the store. Get you some, what's the stuff called? Just for men. Whatever your situation is, whatever your insecurity is, address it. Don't let anybody magnify your insecurity because they don't like it.
Woo, that's good.
That's what's important. Don't let nobody magnify listen, you're going to have eyelashes, you can buy some. Or if you don't have none at all, love your eyeballs bald. It don't matter. But don't let nobody talk you into doing anything for yourself because they don't like something that you got going on.
It is so true.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes, ma'am. Where can the people find you?
Well, first of all, next Saturday, you can find me at City Winery.
Okay,
I will be
and I'll be
there with
there too.
Metaverse. Yes, with my girl Queen Sheba. And also, listen, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, but I travel all over the world. I'm going to be speaking at Oxford University April 4th through the 7th. If my assistant was here, she'll tell me because I don't never know. Girl, I don't know where I'm supposed to be from day to day. All I know, this is what I wake up doing. Do I need to be anywhere? I need to put a wig on. That's all I need to know. Just tell me, do I need a wig and lashes, girl, where I need to be? But I will be speaking at the literary, what is it called? Anyway,
Yes. You're gonna
KianaDancie.com.
be there. Mhm.
KianaDancie is my website. But all things social, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, I am there. But please follow me on my website, most importantly, because I might get mad at Facebook and not be there. And if I'm mad at Facebook, apparently I'm mad at Instagram. So, and I'm already mad at Twitter. So what is it called? X. So please,
Yes.
I'm not on there either. So please follow me on all things social. You can just put my name in there in the Google. Am I mad at Google this week? I don't know. KianaDancie. I think we were supposed to ban Google. Well, we were oh girl.
Are we
Okay.
Google
banning
is in the mix.
Google?
It's coming up. It's coming up, ma'am.
Oh
It's
Lord.
coming up.
Okay.
Girl, we mad at Target, child. I said, wait a minute now. But KianaDancie.com is my website. I love you guys for real. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me. And also, I speak all over the world about emotional well-being, emotional balance, emotional baggage. We have to take care of it's our responsibility to take care of us. Period. We can't rely on nobody else to make sure we're good here and here. That's
Yes.
on all this has to be equal and balanced.
Yes. 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 Well, we love you too. We thank you. It's such an honor to have you with us. We will be pushing this out and sharing it and resharing it. And yeah, just phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
Phenomenal.
I appreciate you so much. Let me see if this boy wants to say bye. You want to say bye to the people? Okay, come on.
Yeah. What's his name?
His name is Snoopy. Come here, Snoopy. Now, look, he's trying to jump, and I'm trying to tell him, I'm trying to help him. See, this is a big boy. He likes to,
Hi.
Oh,
like, put your
Hi.
ears down like a gentleman boy. And
hey,
girl,
Hi,
buddy.
big
I don't even know
guy.
why.
Aw.
Listen, this is the crazy thing. So, I got my baby because he's my emotional support, right? Now I got a whole man. I'm like, I'm a package.
Does he have a problem? Snoopy might have a problem with that now.
Well, right. So listen, how my emotional support need emotional support? Like, what is happening? But anyway, ladies, thank you so much. I appreciate you
Thank
and honor
you.
you. Go and be great. Don't let nobody dim your light. Stay strong. Keep your head up so that your crown won't tilt.
Yes. And this is us signing off. Until next time, what are we doing?
We're staying in love with love, darling.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.